everybody, to a new and exciting Season 3 of
Midwest Reviews.
And today we're going to be taking a look at a movie that was sort of a I guess it was a summer blockbuster movie, which would be
Jurassic World.
Yeah, Chris Pratt riding alongside Velociraptors. Still not quite sure how I feel about that, because I think they'd really try to eat him in real life. Alright, so just kind of what we think of the story. I actually think it was cool. I think it reinvigorated the franchise and stuff. And don't get me wrong, while I like Sam Neill and I like Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern, Chris Pratt was a good one to continue on the franchise, because after his success in Guardians, he, like I said, he had qualities of both Malcolm and Grant, but he was his own character in his own right, which I kind of liked.
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting because Colin Trevorrow said that they casted him before Guardians was really even a hit, so they took a big chance on him. So, which is kind of funny. This,
Well, and then of course Bryce Dallas Howard, she's done a lot of successful films, but in a lot of circles she's not as popular as, say, Chris Pratt. But the character she was playing, I liked her character, but the character she was playing just didn't seem to have all that much common sense. When you're walking around in the park in high heels, where it's grass and dinosaurs are taking a poop and all that sorts of stuff, high heels are not necessarily your best option.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she was a good. I mean, she did good acting in the movie, but her character was just kind of
a ditz in some respect.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a genius, but she's also a ditz, which is kind of weird. I mean, Bryce Dallas pulled it off.
Yeah.
No matter how good an actor is, if the script and the character is written so poorly, I don't care how good an actor is, a great actor can't save something whenever it has problems from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because they're limited in what they can do.
Exactly.
But so as far as one of the cool things I liked about it was how at the very end, the T-Rex at the very end shows up. The one from the very first movie, because this takes place on the same island as the very first Jurassic Park, and it's the same T-Rex. You can see she's got the raptor scars on her neck from the end of the very first movie.
Yep.
And she comes back alongside one of the raptors, and they fight the new big bad of the movie, which is the Indominus Rex, which is like so many creatures just amalgamated into one.
Yeah.
And
if you didn't know exactly, if you didn't really pay that much attention to figure out what the Indominus Rex was, obviously by its name, it was mainly made of T-Rex, but they had, I believe, cuttlefish DNA was built into it. Raptor DNA, and there was another
something like a cloak.
Well, it was the cuttlefish that could cloak, because they did that for the reason they said was because of its fast growing rate, its genes. They needed something that could help, kind of help it along as fast as it was evolving or whatever and growing.
So basically, as smart as a raptor, as powerful as a T-Rex, and with the ability to make itself invisible like a cuttlefish.
Oh yeah, and of course they also used some frogs that are able to disguise their heat in certain situations, so they also used a little bit of frog DNA, kind of similar to, the first one where they used frog DNA for most of the dinosaurs then, but a little different in respects.
Which that brings up another point. Another thing I really liked is how many references there were to the very first Jurassic Park, because apparently when they built Jurassic World, they let the jungle grow up around where the old park used to be, because Jurassic World is a lot bigger. Well, in the midst of the jungle, there's the old visitor center from the first movie. It's grown up and stuff, jungle around it, but you see the doors, those iconic doors. And these two annoying kids that didn't really need to even be in the movie, they find their way. They go in through the old visitor center, and there's the mural in the background. The jungle's all grown up. There's the banner on the floor. They even hotwire a Jeep that's been sitting idle for over 20 years, which is totally impossible. Watch CinemaSins.
Yeah.
And so they're driving back to Jurassic World in a Jurassic Park Jeep, and one of the guards like, well, that's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
Which I like how they called back to the first one.
I did.
I like stuff like that where they go back and they show stuff that's iconic.
Yeah. I like that too. Nostalgia is kind of cool seeing the movie. Now, I don't want the whole movie to be a nostalgia trip, but when they and they make reference to it in the very beginning of the movie. It's Jake Johnson's character when Bryce Dallas Howard sees the shirt that says Jurassic Park on it. And what's funny about it is he says he got it on eBay, right? I did like that. I thought that was unique, something for them to do, you know, thing like that. Because when you got to meet Owen Grady at the very beginning, I loved how they introduced him by showing the raptors being trained and stuff. What would be your favorite scene in the movie?
Well, probably the Mosasaurus. Like, at the end, it was kind of one of those things, because it was kind of an even match between the Rex and the Raptor versus the Indominus. But in the end, the Indominus gets too close to the Mosasaurus paddock, and the Mosasaurus just comes up and, you know. Mm-hmm. And then the only other parts that have the Mosasaurus in it, like at the very beginning of the film and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what they should do is really simple, because, I mean, I get what they were going for with the Mosasaurus. It's supposed to be this big bad fish and all that sort of stuff. Now that I think about it, I think it makes a lot more sense, the amount of time they had it in there. I think probably if they would have focused a little bit more, it would have gotten lost. But I thought it was really kind of cool, because the very first thing you see is this, they have this dead shark up on this line way high up in the air, and then this giant Mosasaurus just comes out, you know, and pulls it off.
But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this is something that you haven't seen yet. The first 3 Jurassic movies never featured any of the aquatic dinosaurs, so that was really a nice, refreshing thing to see, was an actual aquatic dinosaur.
It was kind of like Jurassic World was ripping off the Shamu thing from SeaWorld.
A little bit. So, oh, and I gotta say, when you're introduced to the big bad Indominus Rex, that had me on edge, man. Yeah. So I mean,
well, one of the things that didn't make sense was
the Raptors, because Chris Pratt had even said that he raises them from a very early age. He imprints upon them, and so he's supposed to be the alpha, right? After they release the Raptors on the Indominus, you find out then that the Indominus is part Raptor. And then all of a sudden, the Raptors are like, okay, you know, forget this. We're going to go after you now. That didn't make much sense. And it didn't make much sense in the very beginning, too, when you first meet the Raptors. Because they attacked Owen when he, you know, ran out of there, which didn't make sense either. I'm like, he's supposed to be the alpha. Why would they be attacking him? But then again, they are still wild animals. So,
well, it's like they skirted the line between him being able to control them and him not. It's like you can't have it both ways, because one of the things that really didn't make sense was that. I mean, either you can or you can't. Mm-hmm. And they tried to make it do both ways, but at the very end, Chris Pratt looks at this one raptor like all lovingly, like, son, and then the raptor turns on the Indominus Rex and teams up with the T-Rex to fight the Indominus.
Which I have to say,
that was kind of like loose. I mean, they didn't really.
It was.
The T-Rex, like, that's kind of like the star of the movie. Even though they try to make the Indominus, everybody's waiting for the T-Rex, and there at the very end, it all pays off, because you see the character that everybody loves, which is the T-Rex.
Oh yeah, and you know, I think they did this on purpose too. I don't know if anybody really caught this or noticed it, but you notice when the T-Rex is released, how the T-Rex, when it's running, they do the slow motion where it bursts through this skeleton of a Spinosaurus. Catch my drift? Jurassic Park 3, they come to realize that the Spinosaurus wasn't the big bad dinosaur they thought it was back then. So I think
still
that was
the T-Rex, that was kind of their way of rectifying it.
I think that was it, yeah.
All right, well, we're down here. We don't want to spend too long. Got like a minute left to film, even though it's digital. So anyway, guys, this is our review of Jurassic World. This is the first episode of Season 3. We will see you guys next time.
Okay.
Coming in unannounced, try my nails on the tile. I just follow your sin, you can just follow my smile. All of your flaws are aligned with this mood of mine. Cutting me to the bone, nothing left to leave behind. You ought to keep it concealed, just like I was a weapon. I didn't come for a fight.